Welcome to Your Limitless Life, the podcast where creativity meets transformation. I'm Jane Bellante, artist, coach, and entrepreneur, here to help you let go of fear, embrace your power, and create the life and business you've always dreamed of. Each week, we'll explore the tools and stories that inspire growth and action. If you're ready to break free and live your limitless life, you're in the right place. Now let's begin. Today, I am beyond thrilled to welcome someone who truly embodies the spirit of creativity, courage, and a dash of mad scientist genius. Mary Beth Shaw is an artist, educator, entrepreneur, and the mastermind behind StencilGirl Products, a company that has revolutionized the way we think about stencils in art. Mary Beth took a bold leap from the insurance industry in 2000 to fully embrace her creative side, and she hasn't looked back since. She's a mixed media maven whose process is as much about spontaneity as it is about intention, proving that even mistakes can lead to magic. She's also an educator for Golden Artist Colors and Silverbrush Limited, and spends her days teaching, managing her thriving company, and of course, creating art that inspires us all. So join me right now as we dive into an inspiring conversation with the one and only Mary Beth Shaw. Okay, so welcome to the Your Limitless Life podcast, Mary Beth Shaw. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
I am so excited. I've been so excited about this. So for those of you who know me, you know that I journal every single morning. And when I'm journaling, I get downloads. And I had an immediate download I had to contact you immediately. It had to be by video because like I type and it's mistakes and you're like, what the heck? So I sent Mary a video asking her to be on my podcast. And I just really have a good feeling in my gut that this could be a good conversation.
I hope so. I think it will be too.
So January is all about fear.
Mhm.
And I actually met Mary Beth in person. I guess it was 2023 in Mineral Point. Was it 2023? I think
Oh,
about
yeah. Yeah.
And it was just so cool. We got to like hang out and eat really good pizza and just like it was the best class. It was so fun, so chill. And I just I never really knew you before that. You know, I've always fangirled and all of that kind
Mhm.
of thing, right? But you really talked about how you started Stencil Girl, and
Right.
that just hit home with me. So tell people kind of how you started StencilGirl Products and what that journey has been like.
Oh my gosh. Well, in the year 2000, I turned 40 and I decided that I wanted to quit my day job. I had been an insurance executive managing like bodily injury cases, big cases for
Wow.
self-insured companies. Completely other side of my brain, right? And my husband's like, wow, that's going to be really expensive if you quit your job. But I just wanted to explore my creativity. So I did that for a bit. And one thing led to another. And I found myself making art and being very fulfilled with that. And then I was using stencils in my own art. I was hand cutting them out of mylar and experimenting with them in my work. I've always loved pattern. And so I was doing that. And I decided I would, people were showing an interest. I was teaching just a little bit, and some people were showing an interest. So I thought, I'm going to have 6 stencils manufactured. 6. And I
And there's
decided I would, yeah, yeah. And I decided I would take them out to ArtFest in Port Townsend, Washington, because had been accepted to teach out there in, I guess, 2008, 2009. So in 2010, this was the year I decided I'm going to take my 6 stencils out there. And I did not get accepted to teach. And
oh,
I was like, oh crap, you know? So
yeah.
I had this grandiose little plan, and I thought, well, I'm just going to still go out there and I'm going to sell my stuff and see what happens. So I went out there. I had a lot of girlfriends and other people I knew who were teaching, and I kind of primed the waters by distributing my stencils to them for free. And I said, use them in your class if you are inclined, and then I'll be selling them at vendor nights. So I had 100 stencils of 6 designs, no packaging, no company name, no nothing. This is kind of how I operate.
Yeah, I love
You know,
that. Yeah.
I just like take off. I just take off and then go, oh wow, I probably should have gotten some packaging. But anyway, so I had a 6 foot long table and I had 6 stacks of stencils.
I love this
They
so much.
opened the doors and people swarmed my table. My friends had been using them in their classes and sharing them with their students. And I mean, 30 minutes later, I was standing behind an empty table.
Honestly,
Honestly.
that
And I
is,
called my husband because we were in kind of we were just in a real transitional place where I was making some money. He was, his position had been eliminated, so he was effectively unemployed, but doing a few things here and there. And I mean, we just weren't in a great place
yeah,
financially.
yeah.
So I called him and I said, "Hey, we might be onto something with this stencil thing."
Wow.
And so I went home, I bought a canned web page. This was back in 2010,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
just buy like a canned web page and uploaded my 6 designs onto it. And I just didn't even look back. I just like plowed forward, designed 6 more. I had 12 stencils.
Oh my gosh.
And today we have, I don't know, 2,500 were sold
I was
worldwide.
just gonna say, like, so many.
I know, it's
You know,
insane.
it's so funny because when I send people to your website, I literally say, please make sure you have at least an hour, if not more, because you're going to go down the rabbit hole and you're going to be like, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, add to
I
cart.
know, I know. I would say
So
that's one of
great.
our biggest issues today is helping to guide the customer experience because if you haven't used stencils before and you don't totally know what you're going to do with them, it's
Yeah.
really hard to make a decision,
Oh my gosh, you have
really
so many good ones. So
hard.
many good
Yeah.
ones. So
So,
that's so funny. It brought to my mind, do you know what your human design is?
oh gosh, I did that once and I can't think.
Are you a
I'm a
manifesting
manifester.
generator?
I'm a manifester, but not the generator.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
I'm a manifesting generator. I could see
Uh-huh.
that in you. It's sort of
Uh-huh.
like you just feel like this is the right thing to do, so you're going to do
Uh-huh.
it and see what happens,
Right.
which I
Right.
love. And I think that especially with artists, we let ourselves get paralyzed in fear, like fear of making the wrong decision, fear even just in your art or in your art journal, like we think that we have to make some kind
Yes.
of masterpiece when that is the place to explore, you know?
Yeah.
And so what kind of advice do you have? And I know that you have such good advice.
Mhm.
But you know, because innately inside of both of us, we are not afraid to just go and do something and see what happens.
Right.
It's the sort of
Right.
F around and find out, right? Like
Right. Right.
fool around. I'll say it nicely, fool around and find out the answer,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But for the majority of us, that is not the case. And we sit in
Right.
fear and we are paralyzed. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
what would you say to help?
I one of the things I don't spend a lot of time in fear. I do throw caution to the wind quite frequently. And I will often think like, what is the worst that could happen? And Jane, I've had a very horrible history like
Yeah,
20, 30 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
I've had the worst happen to me.
We've
My
talked about
child
that. Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've talked about
My
it. Yeah.
kid died.
Right.
That is the worst.
Mm.
So I kind of start from that point. It's like, well, what's the worst that could happen to me? Well, it pretty much already
It already
happened.
happened.
And I think that at that point in time, I transitioned into a more fearless place than
Wow.
I was before, because before I think I always wanted to, oh, I'm a people pleaser. you know. Yeah, yeah. So I always have this in my family, in every job I've had, that's who I've been. I've been like running around in the background trying to make everybody happy and keep
Yeah,
everybody all
totally.
the plates balanced and all that, you know. But at some point you do have to throw up some boundaries and just say, be fearless. What's the worst that can happen? And go for it. I mean, because if you wait, it's like, they always say, if you wait for everything to be perfect,
Yeah.
it's never going to happen because you'll think of that one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. And I have always found personally that I prefer to just move forward and then figure out the details kind of as I go and be informed by the experience.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that we're afraid of because we take past experiences
Hmm.
and that's how we're bound. Those are our
Right.
chains, and
Yeah.
I always tell like the people that I coach and the people that I serve, like, what if those experiences are your greatest lesson? So like what I'm hearing from you is like, you know what? I've learned this already. I'm not
Hmm.
going to screw around anymore,
Hmm.
and let me go live my life.
Hmm. I do think that that's true. And, after, of course, after I lost my son, I did go through a lot of therapy
I'm
and,
sure. Yeah.
to handle that. And, it wasn't within that context that, oh, this is a lesson. I mean, I think the therapist was working to transform it into a more positive experience for me, which, I couldn't really come up with one. It's
Right.
like,
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
not really. But what I find, especially in the art world, is that so many of us come from such a damaged place in
Ugh,
one way or another. I teach a lot of the international retreats, and when you get to a different level of intimacy with your students where you're all sitting around a table sharing a meal together, and everybody starts to tell a little bit of their story, and their fear to share that dissipates, and
ugh, I love that.
you look around the table, and every single person has had just enormous things that they've overcome. We're all so much more alike than
Oh
different.
my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
true. We are all that's the thing is like, instead of like having tolerance for those things, it's more like acceptance because we are all peopling. We're all humaning, we're
Exactly.
all
Right.
doing
Right.
it, and
We're
like,
all 100% human.
yeah, we beat ourselves up so bad
Right.
for like
Mhm.
the experiences that we have. And what I'm really coming to understand is that having compassion and grace for yourself instead,
Mhm.
it feels better. And that's the expansive part of it all.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that for me is sometimes it's really hard to have grace for yourself.
Heck yeah, it is. Yeah. And I mean, you hear this all the time, but like we would never treat our best friends or our kids or whatever, our husbands, like the way that we treat ourselves, So why is it
Exactly.
okay to do that to ourselves?
Right. I
You
know. I know.
And it's
Yeah.
like when you're on the other side of that, it is freeing. And even if we're just talking about letting yourself go in your art journal and make a freaking
Mhm.
mess,
Mhm.
just make a mess. Does this go good with this? No, it doesn't. Well, what did you learn?
Yeah.
You're not going to do that again.
Right, right. Oh, I know. And um freedom with paint in the all of the supplies that we tend to use in mixed media, to me, I've I have absolutely no fear with that whatsoever. I mean, starting a new business, okay, maybe I have a little inkling of fear. You know,
Yeah.
and doing a pivot with the business or facing growth or lack of growth or all the different things that come up with the business, yes, that can definitely generate some, okay, let's analyze this. But for me with my art making, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
there's very little fear because I have always found that pushing myself and being unafraid to experiment or push the limit of the product or the page or the canvas or whatever is what ultimately brings me to the next level with my own
Yeah,
art, you
totally.
know.
And if we could all just look at our lives like that,
I know.
like the ascension would be, it would be faster. Like we would get it faster. We would learn the lesson faster, which
Mhm.
like so, I mean, and that is one thing that I've done. And the people that listen to me and know me know that I have my transformational art journaling thing that I do for myself. I teach, whatever. But you also have a practice that you have been actually showing to people now on your YouTube channel, and that is your wellness journal. So, talk about
Yes, yes. That wellness journal has been an amazing thing. Actually, it's just right here. I'm going to grab it real
yeah.
quick. Um, I haven't bound up 2024's yet. I'm not sure what it's
Oh
going to
my
look
gosh.
like if
Oh
I
my God.
bind it up, but here's the year.
I love it.
And so what it is for every month. These are made with manila folders, but it's a little thing for each
Yeah.
month. And for me, it's really, I learned this from Andrea Chebelot, A Work of Heart. And anyway, I learned the process from Andrea, and she has just said, run with it because she's doing something different now. And anyway, so I've put this is on the YouTube channel, how to make it and so forth. But
Oh, I love that.
what is so nice is that you can take 1 month and then travel with it as over the course of the month. And it has been so nice for me to have that tiny little thing that I could go
Yeah.
with, you know.
Because it's just for you.
It's just for me, and it brings me so much pleasure, oddly, right?
No, I
Because
love, no, I,
there's a lot of like pages here, if you
oh, I love
want,
it.
front and the back, and I have all kinds of hidden messages for myself in
I
here.
love that.
And
And that's really like
you know,
the junk journaling is really like popular right now. And this is
yeah,
sort of a form of that where it's not junk,
it
but it's
is.
also like secret hidden messages. And I love making little
Hmm.
kits with little cute little, you know,
Hmm.
and it's in its
Right,
own style and that like, oh,
right.
I just feel like the
It is
world
so
needs more
true.
of this.
And like even through the course of the year, I see things coming up over and over. Like this one, this December, windows. These were some window stamps I had. They just came up over and over for me. And I knew it was, and it's not like I'm consciously planning to use windows. It's just I find that I look back and go, oh wow, there's a ton of windows in here.
So I
You
would
know,
totally be Googling like, what is the significance of a window?
I know,
That's what
right,
I would be doing.
right. And the little messages to myself, become, dream life, beginner. So I have words in there
Yeah.
that will invariably, it's not that I go out and search for a word to put in there. It's like I'm sitting there and there's a big pile of junk everywhere,
Yeah.
and this word like somehow pops out.
It's like bats with echolocation, right? It's like they put it out and it comes
All of
back. That's
a sudden
totally
I'm
like
like,
I get that. That
oh
happens
my
all the
gosh, look
time.
at that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was literally, I have this huge, I think it's a 48 by 48 canvas, and I have this
Uh-huh.
it's a Hearth and Home magazine from Maine from 1928. It's like big, it's a magazine, but it's like a newspaper, right? So
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
I'm going to collage this as the background. And as I'm doing this, I kid you not, I turn to a page and it says, searching for Jane. And I was like, what the heck?
Oh my gosh, that's
No
so cool.
way. Like
So cool.
that kind, I love those synchronicities so
I
much.
do too. I do too. That's one of the things I love so much about journaling is that it always happens like that. But it does, I think when you're first starting with art journaling, you have to give yourself a chance to let that go because, and then you will see it over and over.
It's
I mean,
funny.
every one of my students sees it, every one of them.
My people will say like, "Oh, you always get the greatest words or the greatest quotes or the greatest whatever," and I'm like, they're like, "Why is that?" And it's because I allow it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You do have to allow it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
But it
sure.
does take practice, which I love. And so, I mean, your Stencil Girl YouTube channel has thousands of videos on it.
I know.
I
It's
mean,
nuts, right?
but it's so great though because if you're thinking about a certain stencil. Like if you're on your website and you're like, oh my God, I love the stencil. I wonder what you can do with it. You can go type that into YouTube and you'll
Mhm.
probably get a cool.
Yeah, it probably will come up. And
Mhm.
that's been part of my mission from the start. I felt that as the owner of a company that's manufacturing a product for mixed media people, I felt compelled to educate. And I've always felt that the educational piece of the company is the most important piece because stencils, I mean, it seems like it might be intuitive, but it's really not. And
Oh
there's
my
so many
gosh.
different things that you can do with them. And I wanted to be the person putting that out there,
Oh,
you know,
it's so
for
fun. I
people.
remember the first time I saw something from submission from you in Somerset.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, what is this magic? Like, oh my goodness. And so then
I
I
know.
rabbit hole for so long. And in fact,
Mhm.
recently, I think I even messaged you. I was paging through an old magazine and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. And
I know, I know.
so great.
And we've been working together and you've been using our stencils, and I love to see how other people use them. I mean, it just never fails to blow my mind that you can take the same stencil and give it to 10 different people and
Yeah,
see 10
it's
completely different
so
results.
cool.
And it's so fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it. And you definitely got me hooked and addicted to stencils for sure. If there's, I have a lot of art products, so this is saying something. If there's one thing that I have the most of,
Mhm.
stencils.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I'm the same. And luckily they're flat, so they don't take up a lot of room.
It's really true. That's so true. So, have you ever found, because you had just sort of brought up a little bit, like in your art, you're fearless, and like
Mhm.
sometimes you have to make decisions, and like you just had your Facebook page stolen from you by this
Mm,
awesome
mhm,
content, and
mhm.
like, so like fear does come up in your
Yeah.
business. So,
Mhm.
how do you push past that?
I'll tell you that Facebook page was such a test.
Oh, yeah.
It happened the very first day of our Cyber Monday sale.
Uh,
And I was sitting, I have where I'm sitting right now, it's my studio, and right across the parking lot is where Stencil Girl's located. So I'm sitting here at my studio and they're over there pulling stencils and starting to package. I had bought some ad space on
yeah,
Instagram and on Facebook, and an email comes through to me from one of my people across the parking lot, and it's from Facebook, and it says, "There's a problem with your ad." And I clicked on it, and it was a hacker.
I mean, what did you feel in your body at that very
I
second?
just looked like, I
Choking. Yeah.
just, it was like a gut punch.
Oh my gosh.
It was like the minute I did it. I mean, my people looked at it. My business partner looked at it. He had sent it to the lady who works with him, and they're like, Mary Beth did buy ad space, send it to her and she'll figure it out. And I mean, literally, we're going a million miles a minute, and I just clicked. I didn't even think, nobody did. And
Yeah, right.
I felt so stupid. And, I have tried to determine what the lesson would be from this. And truly, I'm thinking, I don't want to be on Facebook anymore. I don't want to be part of a company that has no interest in my success.
Right. All they care
It
about is,
would allow a Vietnamese perpetrator, and that is a Vietnamese perpetrator because I can see the person in my ad account and I can't get them out of there.
ugh,
I went in and I shut down credit cards. I was like as fast as I could be,
oh my gosh.
and they were right ahead of me every step of the way. And I cannot get my real Stencil Girl Products account restored. 28,000 people we've built over the years, all organic.
Right.
And you know what? Okay, then screw you, Facebook. You have such
I mean, you
little
just,
concern for me.
right. I just hear this over and over again. I had a friend, she actually just got her page back, but she had 100,000 followers, but it took probably
Mhm.
6, 8 months to get it back.
I got my personal page back, but I did not get the Stencil Girl Products page back. And see, we'd been on there for two geez, 14, 12, 14 years.
Yeah,
So
long time.
probably how I set it up was probably not proper 14 years ago, whatever. So, because I did have it linked to my personal account. And
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I have been agonizing over it for a whole month. I would say it happened on December 2nd.
yeah,
And up until the new year, I was really agonizing over it. And I had everybody reporting on our behalf and
yeah.
turning in this report that this is a stolen account. And now I'm just like, you know what? My lesson here is this is not what matters in life, you know?
It's so true. It is the heartbreaking thing though, because you have built this amazing, beautiful company where you are serving others. And so like the gut punch is like, why would this happen to me? You know,
I know,
yeah.
really, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it's not like you're going out and like screwing people over. Like this is a beautiful
Right.
business where you support artists, you teach people how to push past,
And I was moving too fast that day. I know I was. If I had looked at that link, I did have our tech expert try to help me, and he said, "Well, that's not the real Facebook font." And I'm like, I mean, it looked like the Facebook font, you know?
right.
I
Yeah.
mean, okay, dumb shit, I mean, it did, but it was just I was moving too fast.
Well, that's a lesson in itself too,
Mhm, mhm.
I think. I mean, because we do that. We get
Yeah,
caught
we
up in the
do.
machine. We get caught in the machine.
Yes, yes, yes. Mhm.
And unfortunately, we get lessons until we learn it, right? So
I
maybe
know, I know, I
maybe
know.
this was the one. You know, for
Mhm.
me, like, I mean, I've been burnt out, whatever, so many times. And like my lesson, I didn't learn my lesson even after I got a stint in my heart. I was 99% blocked, a spontaneous blockage in my heart. I didn't even learn the lesson after that. You know, you're talking about people pleasing and putting everybody else first,
Yes, right.
but yeah. So you get the lesson until you learn it,
Mhm.
and
You do, you really do.
yeah.
And my husband and I talk about this all the time because right now we're having all this stuff done on our house. Little things, just like one room's being painted, another room we had the cabinets fronts replaced. And it's like
Yeah.
you walk through the house and there's not one surface. It's just
Right.
insane, right? And I just said to him today, I said, I don't know how to be in this moment
Mm.
without looking to the next moment because I'm like, oh, I can't wait until it's tomorrow when they're done with this part,
Yeah,
And I'm having trouble staying in the moment, and it is hard
that
sometimes.
is hard. But you run, don't you? Are you a runner or
I
yeah.
have been. Our treadmill broke, and
Oh no.
couldn't get it fixed because
Ah,
it was so old,
yeah.
and so no, I haven't been running this winter. But
Yeah. Do you
yeah, I'm just chomping at the bit though
right.
to get out there because it's like, yeah, I could really run away from this.
Oh my gosh. But that's the thing though, too, is like really and truly to put ourselves first. It
Mhm, mhm.
is the slowing down.
It is. I do yoga twice a week, and
Nice. Yeah.
that really is quite a savior for me.
It is. It is. And that is, I think that's another thing people are afraid of is to slow down. But I
Mhm.
think we're taught, we are conditioned to be in this crazy, crazy machine. And like if you step out, you don't know what the hell to do with yourself.
Mhm. Oh, I know. And okay, I'll just put it on the table. The aging thing, I'm 64 and it's like, okay, I do not move at the same speed I
Yeah.
did. I cannot handle all the things in my head, that whole bandwidth thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I do kind of get that. Yeah, this is a little beyond my bandwidth.
Yeah. Yeah. So pushing past fear, like, do you think that you just like embrace it, or do you think that you actually have like tools to use?
Breathing is the number one tool, I think, for
Agreed.
anything. The act of deep breathing is so powerful. It
Mhm.
really is,
Well, the
and
breath and the body, the breath and the feelings in the body are always in the present.
Mhm. Right, right, right. Because I just can't think of any situation that breathing wouldn't be appropriate for, where
Yeah.
take you take a deep breath in, hold for a minute, and then a breath
Yeah.
out. That is such a just doing that for a few times, it can almost just try to center you down.
Yeah.
I have meditated on and off for years. I'm not a regular meditator at the moment, and I would like to revisit that this year.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, is like I am a master meditation teacher. I am a certified yoga instructor, and like I have the tools. And then when I'm not using,
Yes.
I feel like shit. And when I'm actually doing that, it's like, oh,
Right.
this works.
I know, right. Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing?
But people
Yeah, it's so
say, well,
true because, yeah,
I can't meditate. I can't meditate. And it's like, well, it is a practice.
it is definitely a practice.
Yeah.
My husband and I did a transcendental meditation class many
Wow.
years ago.
Cool. Yeah.
And we both were very serious about it for many years,
Wow.
in the morning and in the evening, 20 minutes each session. And then we moved away from it, but I think it helped us so much we can easily pick it up again
Yeah.
because I don't, to be able to sit with yourself like that and just breathe and close your eyes and just, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
flow through us. It's so euphoric to me.
It really is. And I think that's when you get the downloads too. That's when you get the good ideas, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I'm totally gonna go do this, kind of thing.
Well, I've always joked, I said, yeah, it's those meditation sessions when I come out with a list. That's
Yeah.
probably right.
Right. But it's an
Right, right.
excited list.
Somehow I missed the boat on that one.
I totally, totally get that. Oh, what's on deck for 2025 for you and for Stencil Girl?
We it's transitional for Stencil Girl. I'm getting to that age where I'm just thinking, how long do I want to do this? Is my husband's older than me. I want to be there for him. I want us to be able to have quality time together. And my
Yeah.
parents are aging. Oh, my parents are both ill, so I have a lot of family pressure. So I would have to say that I'm getting to the stage where Stencil Girl's going to have to move to another. I would love if, hey, anybody listening, you want to buy a very profitable stencil
Right.
company?
Yeah.
I'm your girl. I can set you up,
I
turn.
love that. Yeah.
But I just don't know how long I do think we've raised the bar for stencils.
You definitely have. You definitely.
I hope we have. I'm
Well,
proud of what we've done.
yeah. And the
Sure.
way that you support artists, is just it's second to none, really. Second
Mhm.
to none. And I will say, and I told you this in my little video too, but like
Mhm.
when I applied to be on the Stencil Girl team, you didn't know me.
Right,
You didn't
right.
know who I was at
Yeah.
all. And you picked me. And like I died. I literally
Yeah.
died,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it gave me so much confidence
Mhm.
to really say, wow, okay. Because, like, I knew that I was a good artist. I know I'm a good teacher. But when somebody else confirms that,
Right,
it
right.
really can take you to a different level. And
Mhm.
so, like, I have to thank you for that with all my heart
Oh, you're
because,
so welcome. With the company, it was so important to me with everybody we worked with rather, to honor them and let them be themselves and not dictate how they use our products, but also with the designers of our stencils to pay them ongoing royalties.
yeah,
And
that's amazing.
I've just that's I've been told by so many of our artists how important that is because, I mean, we could all hear these stories of artists who've been kind of screwed over for years and years. And I didn't never wanted to be that person. I wanted to be the company that was helping provide a passive income to our artists because it's hard being an artist.
Well, we sit in the starving artist mentality, and that's handed to
We
us.
do.
Oh,
Yes. So many artists do.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, we could talk about that
Yeah.
forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So then we're going to travel. My husband had this desire to take this trip to Cambodia and Vietnam, and we're going in February.
Oh my
And
gosh.
this is huge. I mean, we've never done anything like this before, so we'll be gone for a while, and I'm excited about that.
And are
And
you
then,
gonna post about it? Will you post while you're there so
oh
we
my God, yeah, I'm
can live
sure I will.
vicariously
I
through you? Yeah.
Every time I go to another part of the world, it just brings such a depth of vision to my life, you know. It really does. I love seeing how other people live and meeting other people in their spaces, and I
Yeah.
just love that.
That helps
So,
take away tolerance and helps with understanding, you
oh
know.
my gosh, I know, I know. My mom is she does not understand this need of mine at all. And she started crying when I told her we were going to Cambodia and
Oh
Vietnam.
no.
Just stop doing this. And I'm like,
Never.
probably never, Mom. I said, I love to see the world and to visit new places and to visit people and our, our shared humanity. And I don't know, it's just so exciting to me. So
Yeah.
then I have two trips with the Blue Walk, who's the group that
That's on my
organizes
bucket list.
the travel. They're so great because
Oh,
it's walking and
oh my
art
gosh, it
making,
looks
my
amazing. That
favorite things.
same
And
for me. Yeah.
so I've one in Portugal and one in the south of France. I think there's still a few seats in the south of France.
Oh,
Portugal's oversold though.
oh, I've heard
Yeah.
Portugal is just amazing. In fact, one of my clients is going to do a solo walk from Portugal to Spain for
Oh,
in like March or something or April, but
oh wow. Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
2.5 weeks by yourself.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah,
Now, I
that's
don't know if
great.
I'm brave enough for that.
That's brave, right?
That is fearless right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, if people aren't following you right now and you're like, Facebook is like, no bueno. Where should they go to find you right now?
I'm on mbshaw.com. That's my website. And typically my teaching schedule's on there too, plus links to the media. Um, and then you can always go to StencilGirl Products and see all of the things we have to offer. We have an education portal, then we have all of our free material on YouTube, and get on our mailing list because our mailing list is just chock full
Oh
of
my gosh, I love
comments,
opening it.
wonderful
Yeah,
things.
so
And
much
kind
inspiration.
of the key to the kingdom, really, because you'll find out about ways you could save money on stencils and sales and this and that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so, so much for doing this. I'm so grateful. I knew I would just absolutely adore this conversation.
Oh, you're so welcome. I feel like we could talk for
I know
hours.
we probably could.
Hmm.
All right, well, go find Mary Beth, go find Stencil Girl, and go explore with some stencils.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Your Limitless Life. If you enjoyed my conversation with Mary Beth Shaw, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening right now. And if you'd like to see more, you can also watch this episode and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Before you go, I want to invite you to join me for my free activation class series. It's packed with tools and strategies to help you unlock your potential and step into your limitless life. You'll find the link to sign up in the show notes below. Don't miss it. Thank you so much again for being here, and I'll see you next week for more inspiration and actionable insights to create the life and the business you love.